and welcome back to our coverage of the Gama Trade Show 2017. I'm Eric Summerer here with Justin DeWitt from Fireside Games. Now, this is a brand new product for you guys. This isn't part of an existing franchise.
Nope.
You've been tweeting things out about this game. I'm excited to hear more about Hot Shots.
Yes.
A wildfire
fighting game. Yes, we are super excited about this. So the crew that gets sent out into the system and the nastiest fires are actually called Hot Shots. That's the real term. It's where we get the idea for the game. So what it is, it's a press your luck cooperative wildfire fighting game. So there's all those things together. You're going to work together as a team. There are 4 characters. Each one has their own card and their own special ability they're going to have. And you're going to go out and fight this fire. Now the actual board is much bigger. We've got 19 of these tiles. I just set up a little sample here.
And the whole thing would be out from the beginning?
Exactly. Okay. All the tiles are out. So 6 of them are going to be burning. That's what these awesome little fire miniatures are for.
Those are pretty.
They are pretty cool. We're excited about it.
You're trying to get close to that for the final
We're trying. Yeah, these are 3D printed from one of our local people, but the real ones are going to be, first off, translucent acrylics. So they'll be like see-through awesome. Yeah, they may be shaped a little bit different, but they're going to be pretty awesome.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay,
So the goal is put out the fire. Players win if they put out all of the flames on all the tiles, and they lose if either 8 tiles get scorched, which is flipped over to the burned side where there's nothing left, or if the fire camp gets scorched. That is your home base. You must protect that at all costs.
Okay.
So the gameplay is pretty straightforward. You're going to do 3 things on your turn. You're going to move to a place that's on fire up to 2 tiles away, and you are going to then fight the fire, and then you're going to draw the fire card, which is where all the bad stuff happens. That's the fire living and breathing and moving around. So movement is really simple. You can move 2 tiles, boom, boom, just like that. The exception is you can't go any further once you've entered a space that's on fire. You have to fight that fire now.
Okay.
So you're moving around the board like that, and then it's maybe a little hard to see from a distance, but every tile has a recipe on the bottom, a little combination of symbols.
A bunch of symbols.
Yes, there's axes, or technically they're called Pulaskis, McLeods, which are these special rake shovels the guys use. There are firefighter, there are chainsaws, axes, and hoses, and that is represented by these dice, which will be fancy official dice. These are stickered at home not that long ago.
Sure.
So the deal is, when you land there, you're going to roll to put out these fire, and the goal is to match as many of these symbols as you can. But of course, in all pressure luck games, there's a catch. So you roll, and you can immediately bank as many matches as you want. So I rolled one of the little shovels. We'll put that, or rather, one of the rakes. I did get a shovel as well, and I can go on and keep rolling more. Now the problem is, if I ever roll and I cannot make another match, I have busted, the fire gets worse. I'm going to add another flame token to this fire.
Okay.
If, however, I can get enough matches, good things are going to happen. And it's broken down based on a little chart that's on everybody's little card. If I can match 3 symbols, so let's say I rolled there. Now I've got a hose. That gets me a fire break, which is one of these tokens that I can put on this location, and it will prevent fire from spreading to another tile, because fire is going to grow and spread very organically.
Okay.
Fire breaks are good, but you need to put that fire out, which means you need to push your luck a little more. If I can get 4 matches, so let's say I got that other rake there, now I take one of the flames off. Boom.
Yeah.
If I get 5 matches, I get 2 of these flames off, and I will then get the choice of either taking a fire break or one of these awesome reward tokens at random. They're going to give you things like extra movement. This one means the fire won't spread if I mess up, and this one is a walkie-talkie, lets me move another player. There's all sorts of reward tokens that are awesome and give you boosts. They can help your rolls and things like that.
Okay.
If I pull off the ever-elusive all 6 matches, which does happen, but it's pretty hard to do, you clear 3 flames off the fire, and you get both a reward token and a fire break.
Yes.
Right.
I know someone who will do that every single time. He'll fail every single time,
yes,
but he'll
going
try
for it, that's the key. So
every
here's the
single
deal.
time.
1 roll with no matches is pretty hard. That's going to bust you bad. So what you need is help. This is where teaming up comes in. First off, there are tokens that will buy you a sort of free fail, essentially. Okay. We call this adding support. If there are 2 of you on there, you get to go ahead and ignore 1 bad roll. So you won't fail as long as you have somebody with you. And if you have more than 1 person with you, those are extra supports you get. You can keep trying. So fighting it as a group is great, but here's the problem. Fire's all over the board, and it's going to spread. After you've fought the fire, win or lose, whether that fire gets worse or better, you're going to draw a fire card. These come in a bunch of different flavors. None of them are your friends. This means that fires are going to increase based on their scorch threshold. That's this little fire number that's on the corner. Every tile has a limit to how many flame tokens it can have before it scorches.
Okay.
We were standing on a 5. We put a bunch of fires out. This one's a 4. If it ever gets 4 flames, it's done. It scorches, which means we flip it over. And now it spreads 1 flame to whichever one has the lowest scorch rating. So this one's a 4, that would be our lowest. boom. It goes like that. That's how scorches work. They burn one and spread one fire.
And there's no way to get this tile back.
That's gone forever, and that's one of the 8 that would kill us. So it can very, very quickly get out of control. Oh, and if this tile had happened to have 3 with its 4, and we added the 4th, it scorches and continues to spread. You can have chain scorching. And just in case you're wondering what some of these other special symbols are, this propane tank over here, when it scorches, it spreads one everywhere, just to make things interesting.
Let's just put a propane tank out there, sure.
So in this case, I drew this card. That would mean 2 tiles that are currently burning at a scorch limit of 4, each increased by 1. Now, right now, there are none, so we'd ignore that card. That would be great. I would probably have pulled something much worse. Wind. This is where it gets scary. When the wind blows, it's based on this little wind marker. So just like in real life, fire's going to spread in one direction or another. Fire starts to the north, but every time you draw a change direction card, well, that's the same one, it's going to change direction and blow. And what that means is this fire spreads here. And that would be the entire board. This is why fire breaks are your friends. Fire breaks will stop that from happening.
Okay.
Unless, of course, here you go. For example,
of course, I love that.
This is wind that blows, but it doesn't just blow, it actually combines, which would mean if this fire wasn't blocked, it would add to this fire. Normally, fire only spreads to new tiles.
Okay.
This is the bad one where it actually makes fires worse.
Sure.
These are embers. These just randomly start fires on specific tiles that are called out. This deck has not been shuffled. Here we go. This is the scary one. The black border means that this wind will spread and it will jump the fire break.
It jumps the fire breaks.
There are luckily only 2 of them in the entire deck.
Luckily.
Yeah. So you're fighting fires, you're trying not to get things scorched. It's exceptionally good because, like I said, you have player abilities that are tied to specific tiles. The crew boss, for example, can move another player on their turn. Super, super helpful. Also, the Swamper and another guy called the Sawyer, they can mess with their dice results. When a Swamper rolls a rake, they can turn it into a shovel, which is over here. Or a shovel can be turned into a rake. Super, super helpful, and they can do that an unlimited amount of times.
Okay.
Here's the catch, though. Every character has a certain tile that enhances their ability. For example, the crew boss needs the radio tower to be able to communicate with everybody.
And if that scorches,
they lose
gone.
their ability. They are now just a regular firefighter with no abilities. They just roll dice like everybody else. That's essentially it. There's a whole bunch of things I could go into about details. For example, the vehicle base here, the air attack base as it's called. If you go here, instead of rolling dice, you can use one of these 3 vehicles. The air tanker lets you drop fire in a row or reduce fires in a row. The fire truck lets you put down fire breaks, a chain of 3 of them like that.
Nice.
So and this can be anywhere on the board. It doesn't have to be where you are.
Okay.
The helicopter takes one specific thing and knocks it way down. So these are super, super helpful to have. And like I said, everybody, you want to team up as much as you can. You've got your special abilities. There are some tiles, for example, these power lines won't let you have either of the aircraft affect this tile. They can't fly. They're too low. They're just too dangerous. There's all sorts of stuff like that. We've got ones in here that burn at different thresholds. For example, this is dry grass. It scorches as soon as it gets hit with fire. Boom, gone instantly. So I got all sorts of nasty tricks up my sleeve for you here.
You know, I now having talked about several games with you over the years, there's this glint in your eye that shows up when you talk about all the horrible things that can happen to people. You enjoy messing with players.
I do. They love it too, though. Nobody wants a game that's too easy, and this one's going to push you back in the corner a lot. This is more involved than Castle Panic. It's co-op definitely, so it has that same feel of we're all going to die together. But yeah, we've trimmed the edges on this, made this one got a little more teeth to it.
Yeah.
Can be played solitaire. You just essentially play as 2 characters. And it goes up to 4 players. It's still pretty quick too. This is under an hour. This is not going to be an all-nighter or anything. Little heavier than a filler, but boy, we've gotten a lot of good buzz. This is one of the few that when we were playtesting, people would take the playtest version with the problems and everything and immediately ask to play again. I'm like, okay, that's a good sign.
Excellent. So it looks like you've got your art complete.
Yep.
These tiles look final.
We are
Pieces are still are being worked out. What's your timeline on
this? Is coming out May 31st. So we're probably going to go home and have final samples of the flames and the real dice and everything that I approve, and they're cranking on it right away. These cards I cut out by hand, but they're basically the right material and everything, so it's a good thickness and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and it's a slightly smaller box in case anybody's wondering. The Castle Panic's about maybe another inch bigger in each direction, and so not quite as deep, so this will slide in your shelf real easy.
Nice. Has that been a problem with Castle Panic?
No, but we just wanted to have something with a footprint that fit this and also helped us keep our costs down, because this thing's coming in at $34.95. So with minis and everything and stuff. So
excellent. And I talked very quickly about a recent expansion to Castle Panic that's out now.
Yes.
What's going on with that one?
Engines of War. That is the one that adds the Engineer. It adds siege engines. Basically, we took brick and mortar out of the main deck. We added rope and wood, and now you have a very, very simple economy you're playing with. You're building things. Actually, it takes 1 rope and 2 wood to build the catapult or ballista kind of thing, and you're putting new tokens into play. That sort of stuff really adds a lot more gameplay to the basic game. Doesn't bring a lot of new monsters. There's a handful of new guys in there, but this is really about the big equipment equipment you get. And the monsters get siege engines, which basically they hide under, and you have to kill the siege engine before you can get to the monsters underneath. That glint in my eye.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
back
yeah.
again.
So that's been really, in fact, that actually, we're on a second printing of that because it sold really, really fast. So if you're having trouble getting it, you won't for long. The boat's on its way. So
Excellent. Justin, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, guys.
And we're going to move you over to the question and answer table and see what the internet wants
let's
to know.
see what the internet wants. Now I'm really scared.
Thanks, everybody.
So long, guys.